The entire NBA world has been thrown into chaos today, as whispers, leaks, and behind-the-scenes reports point to one of the most unbelievable developments in years. Something people said would never happen again. Something fans laughed at, analysts dismissed, and rivals feared. But now it's real. The talk around the league is exploding with one massive question: is Kevin Durant really returning to the Golden State Warriors in a blockbuster trade with the Phoenix Suns? What started as a rumor just a few days ago has now gained traction after multiple insiders began hinting that the Warriors and Suns have been quietly exploring a framework that would send Durant back to the Bay Area. And the craziest part? People close to the situation swear the talks are more serious than anyone expected. Right now, the entire basketball universe is trying to understand how we even got to this point. Just look at the Suns this season. A team built to dominate the league with Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal has struggled to stay healthy, struggled to keep chemistry intact, and struggled to win the games they were supposed to win. There's frustration in that locker room, frustration in the front office, and frustration with how their window for winning has suddenly started to shrink. And when frustration builds at this level, big changes start to slide onto the table. That's where KD's name suddenly appeared, and that's when the Warriors quietly entered the picture. Inside sources are saying the Suns aren't completely shutting down the idea of a KD trade, not because they want him gone, but because they know they need depth, youth, draft assets, and defensive consistency, all things they lack severely. And amazingly, the Warriors have exactly what Phoenix would want if they ever decided to pull the trigger. Young stars, valuable picks, expiring contracts, and a front office bold enough to go after a superstar even if the rest of the league calls it crazy. And when it comes to crazy, Golden State has never been afraid to gamble big. The storyline becomes even more insane when you consider what Durant himself has been dealing with. KD is still playing at a superstar level, but the pressure in Phoenix has felt heavier than expected. There have been moments of visible frustration, missed rotations, stagnant offense, finger-pointing, slow defensive closeouts, a locker room that doesn't look united. And in the middle of that storm stands Kevin Durant, one of the most talented players to ever pick up a basketball, trying to carry a team that hasn't figured out how to play around him. People close to KD are saying he's been questioning the Suns' direction. Not because he doesn't believe in Booker or Beal, but because the roster construction is flawed at its core. There's no size, no real point guard, no reliable bench, and no long-term plan. And when an elite player like Durant feels the organization is stuck, conversations start happening. Private conversations. Quiet conversations. The type of conversations that eventually become leaks. And that's exactly what's happening now. Meanwhile, the Warriors? They've been looking for the next big move since the moment their dynasty began to slow down. Curry is still playing legendary basketball, Draymond is still the heart of the system, and the franchise refuses to waste whatever time these two have left. The front office knows that simply running it back with the same roster will not bring another championship. They need star power, and not just any star power, they need someone who can elevate them instantly. Someone who fits seamlessly into their system. Someone who understands their culture. And that someone is Kevin Durant. It's as simple as that. People forget how dangerous the Warriors were when Durant was in the building. The offense was unstoppable, the chemistry was flawless, and the league had no idea how to guard them. But what people forget even more is this: behind all the drama, all the narrative battles, all the social media noise, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant never stopped respecting each other. Their connection was real, and sources have said multiple times that the two superstars have remained close. They talk. They laugh. They appreciate each other's greatness. And they both openly admitted that their on-court chemistry was unlike anything they've ever experienced. Now imagine, just imagine, the conversations happening behind the scenes. Imagine Steph finding out the Suns were listening to offers for KD. Imagine Curry telling the front office, if there's even a 1% chance, we go for it. And imagine how the Warriors front office reacts knowing Curry is still hungry for more rings. Teams with aging cores usually sit back and wait for the sunset. The Warriors? They fight to extend the daylight. And Durant returning would be like lighting their sunset on fire. Insiders claim the early discussions have included names like Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and multiple first-round picks. Some versions of the deal even include Chris Paul, whose contract makes the matching easier. Other versions include a third team stepping in to balance out the value. And yes, the Suns want a massive return. They're not going to give away Kevin Durant for anything less than a franchise-altering package. But the shocking truth is that Golden State actually has the assets to make this happen without completely destroying their roster. Imagine a world where Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant reunite on one court again, paired with role players who fit perfectly into Steve Kerr's system. Imagine how the league would react. The headlines alone would break the internet. The arenas would explode every night. The hate would come back, the fear would come back, and so would the dominance. The Warriors would instantly become a favorite to win the championship again, maybe even multiple times. The part that's blowing people's minds right now is that this isn't just fan speculation anymore. People inside NBA front offices are saying the Suns are actually listening. They're calculating. They're evaluating. And KD himself is watching all of this closely. Remember, Kevin Durant has always wanted to be in a situation where his team is built to compete at the highest level. He doesn't want to rebuild. He doesn't want a half-functional roster. He doesn't want to drag a team that isn't built for deep playoff runs. He wants to win. And despite everything that happened years ago, the Warriors still represent the best winning environment he's ever known. This is why the rumor is gaining momentum. Not because it's clickbait, not because it's fantasy, but because the situation makes basketball sense for all sides. Phoenix could reset their roster and get younger and deeper overnight. Golden State could launch themselves back into championship contention. And Kevin Durant could return to the one place where he achieved the highest level of basketball excellence in his career. This is the type of move that would send shockwaves through every franchise in the NBA. Imagine the Warriors' offense again with Durant. The off-ball movement, the screens, the cuts, the gravity that Curry and KD create together. Defenses wouldn't know who to guard. Double Steph? Durant kills you. Double KD? Steph destroys you. Leave Klay open? Game over. Try to attack Draymond? Good luck. This would be basketball poetry all over again. And the idea of the Warriors closing games with a Curry-Durant pick and roll. That would be illegal. Teams would have nightmares. And then there's the revenge storyline. Kevin Durant returning to Golden State after all the criticism, all the media noise, all the talk that he ran to join a super team. Imagine the statement he'd make coming back, not because he needs validation, but because he wants to win championships. Imagine the narrative flip. The crowd in the Bay Area would explode the moment he walked into Chase Center wearing blue and gold again. Fans who once felt hurt would welcome him back instantly, because everyone knows something bigger. When KD is on your side, you win. If things in Phoenix continue to trend downward, if the Suns struggle to stay healthy, if the losses pile up, and if the front office believes their window is closing, the KD to Warriors trade could go from rumor to reality faster than anyone realizes. This is the NBA. Blockbusters don't happen slowly. They happen in one phone call. And this is exactly the kind of blockbuster that changes everything. Imagine the Suns suddenly rebuilding around Devin Booker with a rich collection of young talent from Golden State. Imagine the Warriors instantly becoming the most feared team in basketball again. Imagine Durant closing his career with Curry, chasing more rings, more history, and the final chapter of an already legendary narrative. It would be the biggest NBA story in years, maybe even the biggest of the decade. The Warriors players themselves have been surprisingly quiet lately on social media. Some believe they already know something is brewing. Some believe the front office has told them to stay ready for major changes. And some believe Curry has already given his blessing for the team to pursue Durant aggressively. Steph has always been about winning. And if KD helps him win more championships, you better believe he would support it fully. No matter where this leads, one thing is certain: the NBA world is watching closely. Phones are buzzing, insiders are posting cryptic messages, executives are having private meetings, and front offices are preparing for what could be the most shocking trade of the decade. Kevin Durant returning to Golden State sounded impossible last year. Today, it sounds like a real possibility. And if it happens, the league will never be the same again.